Hello, my name is Madeline and welcome to my channel, Cozy Cottage Chapters, and welcome to this very giant book haul. I received a lot of books for my birthday and Christmas. My birthday is the day after Christmas, so it's like a giant book flood all at once, which is lovely. And yes, I wanted to just share with you these new books that I am excited to read, hopefully soon. I'm missing a couple of books that weren't able to make the trip across the ocean, and my parents will be bringing to me this summer. I tried to stuff my suitcase with as many books as possible. I think I managed to bring back like 15 books, which is really impressive between my carry-on suitcase and my husband's carry-on suitcase. That was a lot of books that we shoved in there. But anyways, I think I'm missing about 5 books, so I will be able to share those with you later on this summer when they make their way over here. Anyways, I have these broken up into genre. I have a lot of classics, 2 mysteries, a couple of children's books, and a couple of nonfiction books. So let's just get started with the largest, biggest category, my classics. Most of these also are used books. I was treated to some book shopping at a very large used bookstore on my birthday, and that was a lot of fun, and I got a lot of books. So most of these are from there. Up, I have Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. I have not read anything by Anne Bronte yet, and I heard on the Reading Revisited podcast a number of months ago, they talked about Agnes Grey and how it's kind of an underrated Bronte novel and had really good things to say about it. It's really short, so I thought this would be a fun one to pick up. The back says, Agnes Grey was Anne Bronte's first novel and a poignant account of her own experience as a struggling governess obliged to earn her living in one of the few ways open to an educated Victorian girl. Agnes is a gritty heroine, and her story paints a realistic picture of an intelligent, sensitive young woman who endures months of isolation and frustration in a household that is not her home. But despite the unkindness and sometimes even malice to which she is subjected, Agnes's abiding principles of tolerance and compassion help her to triumph against the odds. That sounds really interesting, it sounds really good, and this is a book I definitely plan on picking up pretty soon. And kind of in the same edition, these are the I don't know how to say that, edition of books is Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet, and The Sign of the Four by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is where I plan on starting with Sherlock Holmes. I haven't read any Sherlock Holmes books before, but I have heard that starting with short stories is a good place to go. So I found this little book with just 2 of these stories in it, and that's where I plan on starting. I have a book I have already read in a beautiful new edition, and that is Emma by Jane Austen. These are the Puffin and Bloom editions, and they are so beautiful. These beautiful end pages as well. So yes, I am excited to own a beautiful edition of Emma. I really hope that they make all of Jane Austen's books in these editions. Right now there's only Emma, Pride and Prejudice, and Sense and Sensibility. I'm really hoping that they do the other ones so that it can be a nice, beautiful collection. But if not, I still want to get Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility in these because they are beautiful and really cute little tiny books. Now a very old book, and that is George Eliot's Adam Bede and Scenes of Clerical Life. This edition is from, let me open it up, from 1890. So it is the oldest book in my library right now, and it is in such good condition. The pages are all still intact. It doesn't smell at all, which I was really surprised at, and that was kind of my driving force to get it, because I felt like this was still a book that would be readable. It didn't smell super disgusting and old, and I just love the cover and the spine of it. It is so, so beautiful, and I'm excited to read this. George Eliot and I have a bit of a complicated relationship. I don't always find her reading super accessible and enjoyable in the moment, but her books have a lot of lasting power for me and are characters and stories that I tend to really remember and think about. So I'm excited to own a little bit more of her work. And I have maybe the book I am most excited to own, and that is The Heir of Redclyffe by Charlotte Mary Yonge. This book is kind of hard to find. Her books are out of print, so I was very, very excited to have a physical copy. You can find all of her books on Project Gutenberg. Well, I don't know about all of them, but you can find a lot of her books on Project Gutenberg. And so you can get the ebooks, but I love having physical books for classics. And I am really excited about this. It is on my 30 before 30 list. I've heard so many people talking about this book and having good things to say, especially Kate Howe. She's kind of put this book out into the booktube world, I feel. And I'm just excited to get to this. I really hope I will be able to read it soon. The back doesn't really say too much about the plot, so I'm just going to kind of go in with not knowing a lot, and I am okay with that. Making our way through the classics, then I have another Victorian one, and that is Wilkie Collins' The Woman in White. This is a kind of a spooky Victorian Gothic kind of novel. It says on the back that this is the original sensation novel. It opens with Walter Hartwright's eerie encounter with a strange, solitary woman on a moonlit London road. That's all I want to know going in, and this is one I definitely plan on saving for October. For Victober, I feel like October is the perfect time to read something kind of eerie, something kind of Gothic. So I am excited to read Wilkie Collins, an author I haven't read anything from before. Next up is Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. This is the last Jane Austen novel that I don't own yet, so now I have all of her works and I can read this one. I plan on reading Northanger Abbey in February, and so I think I will read this one in July for Jane Austen July. I'll read just kind of the brief description of this on the back. Beginning with its sharply satiric opening sentence, Mansfield Park deals with money and marriage and how strongly they affect each other. Shy, fragile Fanny Price is the consummate poor relation. Sent to live with her wealthy Uncle Thomas, she clashes with his spoiled, selfish daughters and falls in love with his son. Their lives are further complicated by the arrival of a pair of witty, sophisticated Londoners whose flair for flirtation collides with the quiet, conservative country ways of Mansfield Park. Okay, now this makes me want to read the first sentence. Since it mentions that in the description. Alright, the first sentence is, about 30 years ago, Miss Maria Ward of Huntingdon, with only £7,000, had the good luck to captivate Sir Thomas Bertram of Mansfield Park in the country of Northampton, and to be thereby raised to the rank of a baronet's lady, with all the comforts and consequences of a handsome house and large income. Okay, that's not really what I was expecting, but all right. Yeah, I'm excited to read this, and this will finish off the Jane Austen novels, and then I can go on to rereading my favorites. This book I've technically already started, but I'm still going to include it because it was a Christmas gift, and that is Kristin Lavransdatter, Book 3, The Cross by Sigrid Undset. I'm very excited to get going in this. I'm about a quarter of the way through it already, and I'm enjoying it. I love Sigrid Undset's writing. It's so descriptive, it's so beautiful and atmospheric. I don't say too much about this. It's book 3, so you know, you've got to read the first 2 books. But yes, I'm excited to own this and kind of own all of the books in Kristin Lavransdatter. Last 2 classic books. I feel like this is really, really heavy on classics, but that's what I'm in the reading mood for lately. And that is Green Dolphin Country by Elizabeth Goudge. I count this as a classic. I don't know if it's technically a classic, but it feels very classic to me. When was it first published? In 1944. So it fits the bill, I would say. This back of this one, it says, when young William Ozanne arrives on the island, sisters Marianne and Marguerite Le Paturel are both captivated, but it is tall, beautiful Marguerite who catches his eye. Years later, William leaves the island for a life at sea, eventually settling across the ocean in New Zealand. Impulsively, he invites Marguerite to join him there, but a slip of the pen results in Marianne making the journey instead. As Marguerite deals with a broken heart and the loss of her sister, Marianne must make a brand new life in a strange land with a man who respects her but loves another. Can she persuade William that he chose the right sister after all? Okay, this sounds really interesting. I'm really excited for this. I love Elizabeth Goudge's writing. This is an absolute chunker at over 700 pages, so could be a contender for Big Book Summer. It is hours later at this point, which you might be able to tell because things look different behind me. The bookshelves have been rearranged to fit some of the books that I talk about in this book haul. Anyways, long story short, I lost a bunch of the filming footage for the rest of this book haul, so I am back later in the day going to refilm things, and yeah, hopefully it works this time. So my last classic novel is The Blue Castle by L.M. Montgomery. This is the Village Lane Classics edition, which I just really love the cover of it. It's very sweet and charming. I've heard so many people have wonderful things to say about this and consider it either their favorite L.M. Montgomery or among their favorites, so I'm really, really excited to pick it up. It is on my 30 before 30 list as well, so an added kind of incentive to get to it soon. The back of this one says, Valency Sterling lives with her overbearing family in a small conservative town. Her life is dull and predictable until she receives a devastating diagnosis. Much to the shock of her family and the entire community, in response to her prognosis, Valency decides to break free from societal expectations and her family's control. She moves out of her family's home, finds a job, and even pursues a romantic relationship with Barney Snaith, a mysterious man with a very questionable reputation. I'm excited to get to this one. Then I have some children's classics. I have A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, another 30 before 30 book, and I just love these Puffin in Bloom editions. I have Heidi and Anne of Green Gables already on my shelves, so I'm excited to add another one to it, and I'm sure I'm just going to adore this book so much. Then I have 3 L.M. Montgomery books, and they are the Emily of New Moon trilogy, of course, Emily of New Moon, and I just love these editions so much. They're so beautiful, the illustrations. Then there's Emily Climbs, which is very wintry, and I would love to be able to get to this one this winter. I don't think this is gonna happen, so I'm hesitating to save it all the way until next winter. That seems like a very long ways to wait, but I feel like it needs to be read in winter. And then the last one is Emily's Quest, which is another just beautiful, beautiful cover. I'm so excited to own these and to read them. I have most of the Anne books in the same edition, and they are just beautiful, beautiful books. I wish they would print all of L.M. Montgomery's works in these Virago editions, because they're so nice to read from also. The page, the font and the page quality is really, really nice. 2 mystery books as well, both by Agatha Christie. The first one is Peril at End House. This is a Poirot mystery. The back of it says, 3 near-fatal accidents in 3 days. As Miss Buckley told of her narrow brush with death, the famous detective Hercule Poirot felt a thrill of fear. Were these accidents or attempted murder? So, sounds fun. And I have a Miss Marple one as well. This is At Bertram's Hotel. It says, Miss Jane Marple loved to stay at Bertram's Hotel. It was as dignified, unobtrusive, and quietly elegant as Miss Marple herself, until murder paid an unexpected visit. I believe this is one of the later books in the Miss Marple series, and I do want to try to read them in order, so I will hold on to this until I get to it. To round things off, I have some nonfiction. First is a book I picked up in a little free library, and that is Vet in the Vestry. This is by Alexander Cameron, and it's heartwarming tales of a country vet and minister. I believe he is in Scotland, and he was a country veterinarian first, and then he became a minister as well, and kind of, I think, practiced these 2 professions at the same time, I believe. So it's supposed to have lots of James Herriot, all creatures great and small kinds of vibes to it, and I thought it would be kind of a nice cozy read. Another book I got for free, not at a little free library, but at Christmas Mass. They had tables full of this book that they were giving away, and that is 33 Days to Eucharistic Glory. I have already started this. I'm like 24 maybe days into it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I will definitely talk about it in my February wrap-up once I finish it, but yeah, this was kind of a fun, exciting surprise to find at Mass. And kind of going along with our Eucharist theme, I have Jesus and the Jewish Roots of the Eucharist, Unlocking the Secrets of the Last Supper by Brant, Pitre. I've heard so many things about this. This has been on my radar Since I started the process of converting to Catholicism, this was a book I really wanted to read, and I'm very excited to have found it at the used bookstore and to have this nice hardcover copy of it. I think it's just going to be very fascinating and full of lots of information, and I'm just really excited to get to it. Right, that is it for my book haul. Like I said, these are a lot of books that will take me quite a bit of time to get through, but that's okay. I'm really excited to have them on my shelves and to be able to read them and enjoy them. If you've read any of these books, you'll have to let me know if I should prioritize them a bit higher. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!